So I have a little bit of a fun topic here for you. This is actually brought up by one of my viewers, and he had asked, bar none, what my favorite, most economical coin to look at. And that's kind of a loaded question because it could be all over the place, right? Um, Old coins, new coins, it could be common dates, it could be, keys, trying to find varieties, trying to find everything that I possibly can and have it kind of showcase a little bit more perceived value than looking at anything else within numismatics. And it's a great question. This is one that, it took me a little time to think about, but I'm going to share with you, my audience, a couple of coins that for the longest time I've been cherry picking. I've been looking through. I've actually been assembling short sets, and at the, I guess at the very top of what the benefits could be of looking through a few of these coins I'm going to talk about, there's going to be the rarities. The high grade, mid state 67, full red, or if it's not a Lincoln cent, if it's something else, mid state 67 plus. And these are coins, ladies and gentlemen, that I come across by accident. And I've had quite my fair share of them. I actually have a few coins that just recently I had discovered and found, either cherry picking eBay or I found one at a local coin shop that they had just received. And I'm like, man, that coin is way too good to be only like $20. So I ended up buying it, and it's ended up going to PCGS to see if I could get a nice top grade for it. And one of those that I have had loads of fun cherry picking has got to be 1930s Lincoln cents. The reasons are few. They're few, but you guys are going to like it. Number one, you could find high quality for a low price. Especially if you're looking for raw, ungraded coins, you are going to have a really good time looking through these. And I think what attracted me most about 1930s Lincolns is that it's old enough I could look back and say, man, these things are like 90 years old plus. And you could buy some pretty stunning coins for cheap. Now, let's see here. Now, I did a little bit of digging. I enhanced my filters so that way it's every single 1930s Lincoln set. Here's what I'm going to do, though. I'm going to do ending soonest. And I'm going to keep it at this kind of like picture view so that way you guys can see a much bigger picture of these coins. But, for about a good 15 to around 18 years, ever since probably 2005, I've gone on to eBay and have cherry-picked coins like, say, this 1937D Lincoln Wheat Cent. Look at the price. It's under $20, more specifically, it's under $15. I mean, it's that cheap. But take a gander at the type of coin that you're receiving for that amount of money. And I've always preached that when you're going to go into the hobby, it's always going to be quality over quantity. And the big reason why I preach this is that these are going to be the coins, ladies and gentlemen, that are going to go up in value. It's just a natural foregone conclusion that the nicer quality coins are going to command a lot more respect on the marketplace when you go to sell them 5, 10, 20, 50 years on down the line. And generally, I'll stay away from coins like this. Now, normally, I'll pick up coins like this for a song and a dance. This is $14, although this particular date, I've purchased for between $5 and $10. I've actually purchased that same coin from a local coin shop for right around $5-6. So they do exist out there. But if you're here shopping online, whether it's here on eBay or your favorite other, coin site, whatever that might be, you'll come across nice gemmy looking coins like this one. See, it even says Gem BU Red for $14. And you just can't beat that with a stick. And that's why this is like one of the favorites of mine. I like to cherry pick the older you can go back and cherry pick high grade specimens, that's always going to be a good time. Another thing to keep into perspective is that when you buy these, sometimes the seller doesn't know what they have. They end up sending you this coin. You're like, here, 39S. Look at that. For around $3-4, you can have a really nice mint state red example. Go ahead and put it in your album. But before you do so, take a close look at it. Make sure you're always auditing the coin for double the dies and various things like that. You'll be surprised what sellers miss. That's the point I was trying to get out, but I'm just kind of like tossing around here. But I have come across so many prime premium examples of cherry pickers guide varieties, especially the 38S, over S, RPMs. Those things are amazing when you come across them. But I've also found a few mint state 1936 DDOs, both number 1, 2, and 3. Those are prohibitively expensive coins if they grade out, like mint state 65 and higher. But this is, you look at value. What do you get for the value? You could arguably say, well, I could get a mint state 66 36S for $109. It seems like a really good deal. I mean, it's not too bad, but that's kind of like the opportunity that exists here. Now, if this thing was able to grade out 67 or higher, how about 67 plus? You're going to have a coin that's probably worth a few $1,000s. That's kind of like at the very end of the rainbow. That's like the best that you could expect from some of these. And you come across things like this, 1930. That's a very early date. It's a Philadelphia coin for $35. Some people will see that and say that's a pretty good deal. The earlier you get, especially 31, 32, and 33 in Denver's and San Francisco's, man, if you're able to find and cherry pick one of these, someone tosses one up here as a buy it now. I mean, look at this 33D. That's a tough date. And I own a number of mint state examples of a 33D. I've even had mint state 67 33D. Back in 2014. I was still doing the channel then. I ended up selling that one to a collector on Collectors Universe forums for like $2,300. And at the time, the pops were really small. I think it's grown a little bit, as more people kind of, they have this desire to cherry pick. But, all I did on eBay was to change the filters. So we're looking at the entire 1930s decade of Lincoln wheat cents. And I did uncirculated because you could choose between circulated, which are going to be, obviously worn down, used for commerce, they're going to have gunk and dirt and crap on them. Or you could do uncirculated. And I love looking at uncirculateds because if you're able to cherry pick that really nice variety, and it doesn't matter what it is, it could be any one of the Cherry Picker's Guide varieties, or it could be one of those other lesser known varieties that come in the form of a Wechsler attribution number or a Dr. Wiles, stuff that you would see on doubletodie.com. Those would be good ones as well. But this has been by far one of my favorite decades to hunt in terms of just one particular denomination. That's 1930s Lincoln cents. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of scroll down. There were a lot of BU rolls that were cracked open from about the early 2000s all the way up till now. There's not nearly as many BU rolls of any one of the 1930s dated coins, but rest assured, there was quite a few of them that were cracked open, and that's why you're able to see things like 32Ds, 35Ds, and they're all still reasonably priced. Here's a 37S that looks very clean, and this is me not clicking into the actual listing, but going off of what I'm seeing on the actual listing photos. I mean, they have done a dynamite job to captivate and capture a lot of the mint luster and the redness of the coin. And then, you'll look at things like this 1930S, holy smokes, $18 coin. That would be a lovely specimen to add to your collection, if anything, to add into your album. That thing is going to stand out like a sore thumb, and it's going to make you pleased. It's going to give you a little bit of this personal satisfaction. So, across the board, from the overall personal satisfaction of just owning a 90-year-old coin that's still in this condition, that's sitting there, and it's like illuminating your entire album, to maybe one that you've cherry-picked for variety, or for that top pop registry caliber type coin. There's a lot to love here. And, for a lot of you folks that are listening in right now, there's going to be that one kind of like particular decade or series or specific, probably a uber specific date that you like to hunt through that is plentiful out there, but still very affordable. And this is kind of like one of my personal conquests. Look here, 39S, is one of the more common dates to find in a 67 plus full red. This, of course, is a key cog in a Lincoln Cent registry, and this one right here, $829, represents kind of like the lower end of the totem pole for some of the top grade ones. But boy, once you start to get down to the early 30s and mid 30s in PDNS, and there were like 67, 67 plus, 68s, I'm telling you, you're going to, come across these when you least expect it. But at a much affordable price than saying, going out there, finding a mid-state 1914D Lincoln Cent that's sitting in a dealer's case, and you're figuring, oh, I could totally grade that thing, and it would be, a $15,000 to $20,000 coin, but you forget to kind of think about why it's still raw, especially when that dealer has other graded coins in their showcases. So, there's lots of opportunities, of course, but picking that kind of like that one singular decade, series, whatever you want to call it, that's affordable yet has lots of ceiling to it, is going to be what's really, really driving your passion and fuel for collecting these particular coins. So, look at this. We're not even through the first page, and you're coming across 38Ds for $13.75. What if there's a really nice RPM on there? Graded coins, there's no shortage of those as well. 38S, Mint State 67 red through NGC for $135 is a song and a dance. But yet, it's a great coin if you wanted something graded that's like really, really stunningly beautiful, very nice grade, added to your collection for not a lot of money. It is also another great way to enjoy this particular decade. The other one, and I'm not going to spend nearly as much time doing this, is going to be looking through the assortment of brilliant uncirculated Buffalo nickels. Now, I didn't specify any one particular date, but I've bought my fair share of 1930s Buffalo nickels in mint-state condition, and this is where a lot of the fun, again, is introduced to the hobby and the collecting, is that you have the ability to go in here and pick up coins like, say, this 38D over D Buffalo here for only $26 is huge. That represents a true value for the hobby and for anyone that wants to get into it. You're getting an obsolete type coin that everybody loves. I mean, Buffalo nickel design with black diamond on the reverse is such an important piece to U.S. coin collecting that it should not be ignored by anyone whatsoever, whether you're a new collector or an advanced collector. But go ahead and take a look. Take a look at all the coins here. 35 Buffalo nickel, $30.95. I mean, where else can you get the most bang for the buck? With all the talk of inflation out there, and it's so hard to buy this without having to pay 25% more of what it used to cost. I mean, come on. Go ahead and check out coins. It's not like collecting sports cards where a box of cards is $1,500 and then you end up getting 25% of your value back. This is a completely different animal with so much more upside and more opportunities and so much more of that kind of like exciting surprise mystery component, almost like winning the lottery, right? You cherry pick a coin on here that to you just looks good because it's flashy and it's got lots of luster as if it was minted yesterday. And then you come to find out upon first examination that the coin could possibly grade out mint state 68. It just doesn't get any better than that. And last time I checked, some of the more common 1930s Buffalo nickels in mint state 68 have sold historically for between $2,000 to $6,000. And a lot of those were cherry picked by mistake. And this is a series, especially when you get into the 30s, but it's like all over the place from the very beginning in 1913 all the way up to 38. There are varieties galore, not to mention two-feather buffaloes that can be cherry-picked on much lower graded examples, and you can turn around and sell them for like 20 to 50 bucks a pop. I mean, it's a glorious thing. And it's a great time to be in the hobby when you can go in anywhere on eBay, identify, a coin that looks very attractive and very, very high grade. 1920 Buffalo nickel, heck, $52, $53 out the door. Well, especially if you don't have sales tax, it'll be out the door. Represents a really big bargain that is kind of lost today in the collectibles landscape. And I want to double down and let you guys know that these particular coins still exist out there. There are more than your fair share of inventory out there to scour. I would say, in a nutshell, there's plenty to go around. But who's going to be able to cherry pick better than the next person? Okay, that's a really great question. How about this? 1913 Type 1 Buffalo, right? A very, very good coin. This one's currently at auction with 1 day, 21 hours, $24.50. This coin will probably end up between $30 and $40. But again, where can you go where you could pick up such a beautiful, stunning early piece of Americana that's going to continue to rise up in value for a mere fraction of what all the other collectibles are being sold for today? Something to keep in mind. If you guys are a little bit lost on what you want to pursue, especially you new folks out there that for a while you've kind of had to settle for what you could find in pocket change or going through coin rolls, now it might be time to start branching out and being a little bit more brave, trying to find and identify other areas within U.S. coinage that you could take advantage of some supreme, very beautiful looking examples. There's a lot out here to live and a lot to find. There's pages upon pages of these coins in any which form, flavor, or fashion that you so desire. So that's what I wanted to talk about in this video. Something a little bit that I hadn't personally thought about. I've been so hung up on just putting content out there about the market and things like that, where, I kind of get lost about where my roots were and how I've approached this hobby at certain angles, all right? And, you know, it was 12, 13, 14 years ago or longer that I identified like 1930s Lincoln cents are some of the most stunningly handsome looking coins at not so expensive prices. And you guys need to look at that. There's plenty of other various types of decade ranges, other various types of series. One that comes to mind that's very affordable, 3-cent nickels. You could do a graded set of the most common date, 1865, and then you could go from the very front of it with poor grades and then assemble one of each grade all the way up to mint state. And in that mint state grade coin, you're going to spend no more than like 125 to 150 bucks for those. So find what your niche is, enjoy it. A lot of the things that make it surprising, finding that high dollar coin that pops up when you least expect it, is going to come in time as you develop an eye for beauty, for perfection, things like that. You're going to do okay, and then everything else is going to follow suit. I want to thank you guys again for tuning in. Thank you again for the gentleman that commented about this particular topic. This was actually a lot of fun to kind of illustrate, kind of story tell for you. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Always a pleasure. This is a very fun hobby. Take some time this holiday season to see it for what it is. Pure artistic talent by some of the U.S. Mint's finest sculptors and artists that have crafted just years and decades of amazing, beautiful, historically significant pieces that we could all love and enjoy. You guys have a good one. Enjoy the hobby, and I will see you guys on the next video. So long.